Hi, everybody. Welcome to Beyond Telehealth. I'm Dr. Lisa Finkelstein, the CEO of Beyond Telehealth, and this is going to be a really fun interview with my good friend Les Folio. So, a little bit of quick background. Les and I graduated together, I won't say the year, from PCOM. And as you can see, both of our names end in F. So we shared a cadaver together. So we go way, way back. So here we are in 2022, and we're going to be talking to crazy Les Folio, who's had 7 million ideas, and we're going to talk about his latest and greatest. Let me introduce you real quick, Les. So Les is a radiologist, and he's a senior member in the Moffitt Cancer Center, Department of Imaging, Diagnostic Imaging, and Interventional Radiology. As I said, he graduated from PCOM. He has a master's MPH from Berkeley. He did his residency at the U.S. Air Force School of Aerospace Medicine. He was recently at NIH, and now he is at Moffitt. He is a very passionate fella on many, many things. One of them is leveraging augmented intelligence to advance cancer imaging, analytics, and diagnostics. I could go on literally for 10 more minutes to give you all of his accolades. The list is so long. But what we're going to do today is we are going to talk about the Quadcorder EHR, or another way of saying this is 3D personal health record, or the 3D patient portal. It's a interactive portable device. All of these things will come into focus as we go through this presentation. But really what this does is it takes the Star Trek tricorder, that Bones, if everyone remembers Bones, Dr. McCoy from Star Trek in the 1960s, to the next level and put it in the hands of patients. Or to say it like William Shatner, Captain Kirk said, and boldly go where no man has gone before. I just want to give a shout out of respect to Uhura, who is the actress Nichelle Nichols, who played her in Star Trek, and she just passed away yesterday at the age of 89. So what a groundbreaker she was. And I will now pass it off to Dr. Les Folio. Thanks, Les.
For the introduction, Lisa, and it brought back some memories to the cadaver, and in fact, some of this relates to that 3D-ness that requires all medical students, all doctors, to have their hands in a cadaver to feel the 3D nature of a cadaver. But we're going to do this virtually today with avatars. I was going to share my screen. Can you see it okay?
Okay, here we go. So Les is going to take us away. There you go.
All right. And so Quadcorder is the ultimate goal of all this. In the meantime, this patient portal, which exists in some form today, which I'll show on my personal health record, with a goal of going further into something that could wave over your body like the tricorder. I wanted to mention that Lucas, my son, is an engineering student here at University of South Florida. That's how I ended up in Florida at Moffitt Cancer Center. Long story. I've known Dr. Marilyn Bowie, a pathologist at Moffitt for years. We're working together on this to get the pathology perspective, and myself, who you've already mentioned. And I have to mention two disclosures, because Lucas is the lead inventor on this. He's the one that showed the capability of a photogram that you can now do on your phone, which is going to be the avatar replacement. And so I'm on that patent with him, as well as Marilyn. I've got other patents that I did in the military and NIH unrelated to this. And I have some author royalties. And I did have a research agreement with Philips on multimedia interactive reporting, another topic, but also interactive. So the purpose of this is to develop an enterprise imaging patient portal on a smartphone that can view all imaging, which I'll show you. not just
Les,
radiology.
can
Yes,
I
uh-huh.
can I interrupt for 1 second? So
Yeah, of
why
course.
did you call it the quadcorder? Explain the name.
Great question. Quadcorder because it's one step up from the tricorder conception that Star Trek has and still has in shows like Orville is a current show that has a tricorder like mechanism. So I'll show you those three things that the tricorder did, and I'll show you the fourth thing in a second as to what the quadcorder does, and I'll get to the EHR thing too.
Okay, okay,
So I'll show. Thanks for that, but keep this interactive. I like that
okay.
uh, because you got to keep me on track. I'll review what is possible today with 3D photogrammetry that people can do on the comfort of their home and their phone to take a picture of the entire body. I'll show a couple examples of me, but I'm going to show through an avatar how you can go and click through different parts of your body to zoom in to see what has been imaged in that area in a Google-like fashion, Google Earth-like fashion. It's kind of like a Google body, if you will, where you zoom in, and I'll show you what's possible today. But the last part, my favorite part, is where we're going to go with this, and I'm pretty confident, based on things I did research in the military with CPS, that three-dimensional coordinates can do what the tricorder would do,
There's
but not.
Bones.
There's bones, yep, and a tricorder on somebody from someplace. I don't remember all the Star Trek episodes, but
Right, some planet.
uh, so the tricorder had sensing, recording, and computing. We're going to add enterprise imaging.
Okay,
Now, the EHR, I think you asked about that too. The reason why the EHR is capitalized on quadcorder, first, it's how you spell it, but the capitalization is to show that this is a form of an electronic health record. EHR is known as an electronic health record. But
gotcha.
rather than a separate device as a tricorder, you can do it with your phone. You will be able to do it with your phone. What you can do today is have these kind of 3D images of your body. This is ovarian cancer with metastatic disease, but this should be in the hands of the patient, just like Google Earth. So we can go on our phone and we see the Earth view. We can zoom in. I live in Florida now, where all the hearts are there in the Tampa area. But let's go and look at Miami. Let's say we're going there for the weekend. Oh, looks like a nice beach. I've been to some of those beaches before. In fact, I think I like that hotel because I like the pool. And this is something that kids are doing every single
Right.
day on their phone, navigating everywhere, finding all the stuff. Why not do this with the person? All right. So here's an avatar, meaning a shell of a person. And say I want to click on something, I want to see, let's say this is a patient that has sun exposure and they have these things growing on, and it's a little bit darker than just the normal pigmentation. Goes into a dermatologist, says, I want to take a shave biopsy, has that photo, has that image. And then, according to the Cures Act, anything that's obtained on you is your data. You got to obtain it. That's a whole nother thing. But here's the biopsy, the pathology level. That's where Marilyn Bowie comes in to zoom into this into a whole slide image, the street view, and showing that this is a blue nevus. Patient can show this to their next dermatologist or as they travel through the system. There's a lot of
So wait,
challenges.
let's
Huh?
stop and take a breath for a second because some people are probably trying to catch up here. Is that this information is information that is asynchronous, meaning it's stored from things that have happened in the past, just like Google Earth is not a real-time image. So if a patient is traveling, they're going to have access on their phone to not only their reports, but also their images directly so you can see what that nevus looked like, what the pathology is. Um, and so that's the analogy that you're giving. I'm just sort of summarizing in my own words.
Yeah, that's great. In fact, that saves me some time
Okay.
and then there'll be questions at the end, or at least I'll be available afterwards by email if folks have questions. Uh, can you still see? You can see my phone here,
I,
right?
I
Okay.
can see your phone. Oh,
All
Dr.
right.
Larry Finkelstein's on. He says hi, Les.
Hi. Hey, great.
Okay, go
This
ahead.
is like old times. Um, so, and yes, I still can do the cricket. So let's say I want to see a patient wants to see, this is me, this is my record. I tapped on my chest and I can pull up my chest x-ray. All
Yeah,
right.
it's
This
amazing.
exists today. This is my record. If I go in and talk to someone, here's the lateral chest x-ray. even if you don't see the images in great detail, look, that's my heart. There's my cardiac calcium score. Here is the score itself. You don't need to see all the details, but all the
Right.
details
It's
are there.
there. Yeah, absolutely.
And here's my heart. For a 62-year-old, it looks like I have a 40-year-old heart. So kind of showing off. I may not be all that
Bragging
buff, but
rights. No one likes a bragger, but that's okay. Go ahead.
that, I bet you never saw anyone brag that way.
No, I
So
never have.
So I can click on my shoulder. This just shows up a little bit better. There's my shoulder x-ray. I'll show you how the Quadcorder can do this later.
Okay.
There's my MRI. There's a T2 sagittal and coronal to look at this, the axial. I could also look at my foot. I did ski patrol for 10 years, so I've done a lot of damage falling down glaciers. And here's a osteochondritis dissecans that a doctor or I can click on my foot and I can show here's what happened to my ankle. That's why I've got pain there.
Right.
All right. Not
Thank you
and
for
now I'm going to
sharing
switch
all this
gears.
information.
Say again.
Thank you for sharing all this information.
Oh, sure. I won't share all the information with you until after, but now photogrammetry. It's essentially 3D photography. So this was back in November, and when we coincidentally were talking about these kind of things. This is a 3D photogram of my body that anyone can do in the comfort of their home. Let's see how I would share that. I'm going to stop sharing the current screen and share
Okay.
a polycam of me. First, I'll pull it up. Let me see where that is. I'm going here. Fingers. Pardon me for a second. Do you have something to say
Very
while I'm
good.
looking for
No,
this?
no, that's okay. I don't want to get you. I don't get you. Want to get you off track. I think just generally this is so exciting because, uh, I always say, or people say it's in the future, but the truth is the future is now because of people like you that have brains on fire that are constantly thinking ahead of what is down the road, but it's here.
Yes, that's well put. I was going to put the polycam.
Okay. So Les
Uh,
is gonna share his screen again because I think a picture is worth 1,000 words. It's hard to really imagine what Les is talking about. And basically, just again to summarize for people who are listening, is that it's giving us, all of us, not just physicians, but also patients, to have the ability to take their information, and it's their own information, it's always their own information, and be able to share it wherever they go, whenever they go. Okay, we got
yeah,
you.
yeah, that's well put. It puts the all of your imaging and medical data in the patient's hands where it belongs, and they maintain their security, and a lot of the interoperability issues can be bypassed. But do you see my screen here of a polycam? This was done in
Yes, I
a dark.
see you. I see you.
All right, now we're going to zoom up as if you were zooming in on Google Earth when you open Google Earth. And this is me, and I'm going to zero in on the elbow for a tennis elbow that I have. Here's the x-ray, and
Hmm.
this is possible today, but not by waving the hand over. So what it just did there was moved into an ultrasound. Now let me show you the importance of that. Oh, I was going to show a photogram too, which I can do right here.
Yeah,
So
so what this does is it allows people to have control over whatever it is, whether it's a pathology slide or if it's an MRI image or a CAT scan image or ultrasound. Go ahead, Les.
everything. Yeah, and enterprise imaging is all imaging in radiology, but also pathology, which I showed you, cardiology, rehab medicine, anywhere a photo is obtained, including a picture of the person. And here's my photogram on my phone, and this could be that avatar. And you can zoom in to various points and say, here's that elbow, for example.
Right.
So anyone can have this now and then be able to click on their own avatar or their body, a picture of their body, and zoom in. But let's go one step further on this. Let me just show something to put things into perspective. So I'm going to go back to the slides here. So share
Okay. And what
screen.
Lucas, and I'm just gonna focus a little bit. What Lucas did was add this, and I might be saying it wrong. Is it the enterprise imaging that utilized that Google Earth concept, or am I saying it wrong?
Correct. What he did is he came back. He's an engineering student at USF and very interested in graphical arts. And I'll show you a Blender video of what the future is going to bring. But here is the photogram of me in one perspective. But then again, you could turn it around. And just like I showed you my chest X-ray here, you can do that. You can go in further. I could show my hand where I had a thumb fracture here, and I'll show you that in another version. This is a ulnar avulsion fracture, or skier's thumb, essentially, when
Hmm.
you fall on your hand, on an outstretched hand with the ski pole in the way, pulls
I
that
can
ligament
even see
up.
that. I got it.
And I'll show it to you on the future version, but it won't be as visible. Here's an example of one of my foot fractures. I've had about 20 fractures all over.
Of course you have.
Yeah, I'm
You're just
relatively
trouble
boring.
with a
Yes,
capital
stay away from
T.
me. And I'm still doing trying kite surfing. But let me show you uh, that ultrasound of my elbow. All right. So if no, I've been a radiologist for years. I've been an ultrasound technologist. You show this to somebody, and you show it to a pilot, and they think it's the horizon. You're flying over some storm clouds here. You have to put things in perspective. So if I go like this to a clinician, I say, this is the superior aspect. It's a right elbow ultrasound. Oh, okay. I remember. Yeah. So, but tennis elbow, where's the tennis elbow? I don't get where that comes from. Well, if I tell you that this is the lateral epicondyle, this is the bone, and here's the muscle, and then here's the muscle fibers, overlay it with the bone, then it puts the ultrasound in perspective.
There you
So
go.
this is the part where we zoomed in to the elbow, and eventually you do it with your phone
Nice.
and you change the parameters at will. That's some of the goals. Now I'm dipping into the future here a little bit.
Okay, so this is the
So
future, people. This is not actually happening now, but this is Les's brain. Less is more, or more with less is going into the future. Go
less
ahead.
is more. And in here, you go into the pathology, for example. And this is a matter of blending pretty far advanced. Now, the quadcorder. Now, I'm going to dip way into the future here.
Okay.
And the X, Y, Z, as we were talking before, and I get this question a lot, is how do you plan on taking the phone and being able to wave it over a body part and know where it is to bring back that prior imaging? And I'll emphasize that anything we're showing here is based on prior imaging, just like Google Earth is based on satellite data, and it's not live. You're not going in like the military and doing, I wasn't zooming in on the Miami beach there and looking at who's in the pool. Those were images that were already obtained. So it's not x-raying your body or anything like that.
So
So
Les, let me just bring that up because Larry just brought that up in the chat, and it's the same question that my daughter asked. Is that, and this is way in the future, is that if we're doing a telehealth visit, that the patient can wave something over their body and have it in real time. But I'm going to say to Larry that, and to patients, that we have similar devices like, where you can use the teleotoscope, you can look down your throat. You have a high def camera that is real time. So for Dr. Larry, it's those peripherals that we were utilizing on the cart, that patients can use at home to real time look at their stuff with their physician on an iPad real time. Um, this is
yeah,
what
and
I
that's where augmented comes into play. So going from an avatar like here to the real person, their photogram, going into current day like you do in telehealth with the remote telescope or oto.
teleotoscope,
Thanks for that.
telestethoscope.
Yeah, these types of things. Like we've been doing teleradiology, which I did in Alaska a year after we graduated when I was doing an internship. But let me show this a video. This is made by Lucas in Blender. And this is what he showed at Society of Informatics and Medicine recently. You see my screen okay?
I see it.
So watch the phone as it waves over. Again, this is all conceptual now. I'm hitting the wrong one. I have to hit it on my screen. I was hitting the play on the screen.
I
So
got
here,
you.
the phone is going over. You saw the neck, zooming in onto a lymph node, zooming into the pathology. Marilyn Bowie submitted that part, waving down and going down the shoulder. And I'll show you what this would look like live. But you see the x-ray there in the phone. You see the elbow. I'm focusing on that because it's simple and it's easy to do, going into the hand and then looking at the fracture, for example. So that's, again, the future.
Yes,
Let me,
it's the
uh,
future.
Yes. So let me just do something to show that concept. Now, this is the trickiest part. I've been practicing those, so I think we got this
Okay.
down. I got to
I think we
dim
got
the
it down.
lights. I got to get out of my current medical record into the future medical record. And this is all animation. This is smoke and mirrors. All right. So I gotta tell you that this is not happening as it looks, but this is what we envision.
Okay,
In
it's the
fact, it's
future.
so bright, it's too bright. I'm turning
It's too
down my
bright. You're
brightness.
gonna have to lessen. It's a, you know what, as my cousin Barry is saying, it is amazing technology, Les. The fact that, this stuff is happening and that the patients are going to be able to have access to this is really unfathomable. It's happening. Go ahead.
I'm looking at Larry's comment. Heart may be 40, but the body looks like 62. Thanks, Larry. But he did say it was awesome. Yeah, great comments. So are we going to be able to save these comments later so I can answer
I don't
to them?
know. I don't know
All
how
right.
that
Well,
works.
anyway,
Well, yeah,
ready
it's
for the
recorded. I don't know. Okay.
and Larry remembers that I used to do some magic tricks too, and this is kind of like magic. And in fact, Arthur C. Clarke, his three laws of magic. I like the third one. Any technology that's sufficiently advanced is indistinguishable from magic, and this is. I'm getting goosebumps right now. Do you want to see him? I can. No.
I see him. I see him.
Oh, wait a minute. I have a polycam. I can show them to you. All right, ready? This is going to be a window, a patient portal. I'm waving it over my shoulder. That's my shoulder X-ray. See the
I see it.
degenerative
I
change?
see it. I got
That's a
it.
62-year-old shoulder there, Larry. Now look at the elbow. So again, this is not live, but I would be able to zoom into the radial head. I was concerned, is it broken? No. Okay, it's just tennis elbow. Don't worry about it, Les. Here I haven't had prior imaging, so it's anatomic drawings. And then I
Oh,
zoom
I
in on the thumb fracture I showed you earlier. That's the skier's thumb. And
gotcha.
so wouldn't it be great? Again, what I just showed you is not possible
Right.
without this animation. That was pre-recorded. It is my data, but that's the concept. Wouldn't that be cool? I mean,
Yeah.
again, I'm getting goosebumps, but I'll show you those. That'll be a separate session.
All right.
Um,
Well, this is a lot. This is really a lot to unpack. And I think, this is going to be recorded so people can go back and look at this amazing magic world that we're in. Or, who would think that back in the 1960s that we are here today going where no man has gone before. And here we are doing it. It's just going faster and faster and faster.
well, so fast. I finished in 20 minutes. How long does this? I mean,
No,
I've
we
got.
can. No, we're good. I think, yeah, we're at the point where it's probably good to end. We could always do part two and invite Lucas to come on and give us some more of his neat ideas and where he thinks, he's in the generation. How old is he?
20.
He's
He's in Europe
20.
right now with his girlfriend and my wife. I just
Oh,
came back from Croatia with them
oh, you
and
were in
Greece.
Croatia. Okay. Well, that's so exciting. But it would be fun to have you and Lucas on, and you guys could banter around ideas and see. Um, Larry says, what does he say? Do I hear a beeper? A cricket? I asked Les to do the cricket, but I could see his lips moving, but I couldn't hear the noise.
Do you hear it, Larry?
It's hard to hear.
Anyway,
Anyway,
it's beyond the pitch of this microphone.
I think it is. I think it's too cricket-ish. We are going to end here. This was so fun, Les. You are really incredible, awesome, and so fun reconnecting with you. Keep us posted about what's happening with this multimedia, interactive, full transparency, make it your own. All this stuff is just too cool to be true.
And this is
And
all
stay
going to
on for a
be.
second. I'm going to end the broadcast and just stay on for a second.
He said only dogs can hear it.
Okay.
So all the dogs in the neighborhood are just outside. And this is going to be tweeted too, right?
Yes, I'll put it on my new Twitter handle. Beyond, I can't remember what it is. Telehealth
All right. Well,
LF. I'll put it on my
I'll
LinkedIn.
retweet it and then Facebook it and all that.
Okay, I'm going to end.
All right. Great seeing everyone.
Yeah.